Today I'll be interviewing Desiree Hollis. Desiree was raised a Mormon, and today she'll be sharing her journey with us from Mormonism into a personal relationship with the Jesus Christ of the Bible. So without further ado, let's welcome Desiree Hollis. Welcome, Desiree, and thank you for joining us here on the Ex-Mormons to Jesus Testimony Series. Before we get started, I'd like to get your verbal permission to make this video available for public posting. We will be posting it to YouTube and anywhere else that we feel it might bless someone. So do we have your verbal permission to do this, Desiree?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Okay, Desiree, why don't you start off by sharing with us what it was like for you growing up as a Mormon?
Okay, well, my parents were both converts when I was really young, about 5 or 6, and we were living in Texas at the time. It was pretty normal. I was baptized by my dad. I didn't really know what baptism was. They just told me, you can have a new dress and a party and everyone would sing your favorite songs. So that's all that meant to me at the time.
All right.
We ended up moving to Ephraim, Utah, which is about 8 miles from Manti. And that was really where we first encountered, cultural Mormonism. And for someone that's new to that, it's really different, and it can be really suffocating. There's a lot of pressure to live up to things, to live the standard, and you kind of have to work as hard as you can or just give up.
Wow.
Pretty much is the option.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 11, my dad actually left our family, and my parents divorced, and the church paid for all my dad's legal bills, knowing that he was living with another woman. My mom ended up getting full custody, and I didn't have any contact at all with my dad until I was an adult. We always felt like the people around us kind of looked down on us because we didn't have the perfect family, and it felt like they blamed it on us. It was somehow our fault. If we had lived up to the standards, if we had been better Mormons, maybe that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
And I don't think they know what that feels like, when somebody's telling you that no matter what you can do, it's never good enough.
Right. Desiree, did you have a Mormon testimony when you were in the Mormon church, the Book of Mormon, that the church, Joseph Smith, was all true?
I don't even remember being asked. It was just kind of things that I was told. The church is true, Joseph Smith is a true prophet of God. But no one ever really asked me. They just kind of told me, this is the truth.
Right. So, did you have any other bad experiences while you were in the church?
The only one that I can really speak for is my experience doing baptisms for the dead in the Manti Temple. And I went through the interview process, and, I was found so-called worthy by their standards, and I was allowed to enter the temple, and I got into the baptism ceremony, and, they kind of talk you through what you're going to do, but it doesn't really prepare you.
Mm-hmm.
And you get in there, and you're being dunked, and, everything that's going on. It's a very spiritual experience, but it's not in a good way. I was so upset by the end of it. I went in the changing room, and I cried.
Wow.
And I went home and I just told my mom, something's not right. This is not good. And it actually led me to tell my mom that I didn't believe I was a Mormon anymore. And she was really upset and worried. But the Mormon standard kind of is, if you have a problem, you don't tell anyone. You have to appear perfect. So I still went to seminary. I still went to church. I still did church activities. And none of it had any meaning for me.
Right. So, is that why you left the church, or what led up to you leaving the church?
At that point, when I was in my late teens is when I met my husband, and I didn't really know anything about Christianity. I actually hadn't even heard Mormonism described as Christianity. It was Mormonism.
Mm-hmm.
And when I met my husband, he talked about Jesus all the time. And, I realized I didn't know anything about Jesus, and him and his family, they would use words like born again and saved, and I didn't really know what any of that meant, and I didn't know that it was important. I had to do a lot of soul searching, and I had to do a lot of Bible reading, and there was a lot of things that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know the truth about Jesus. I didn't know about the Trinity. There was so much that I felt like I just didn't know.
Right. So that led you, by investigating Christianity, is why you left the church, the LDS church, or what?
Well, I left because I was kind of sickened by how I felt and things that I saw and not getting any answers to my questions, and I just was at a point I didn't want anything to do with it. It wasn't about coming to Christianity, it was just I don't want to be Mormon.
Right.
And, being around my husband, he was the good example.
Right.
And doing the research that I'd done, I just kind of was like, okay, Lord, you teach me. I mean, put me in your hands, I'm all yours.
Wow. Okay, so Desiree, why don't you share with us a little about your born-again Christian experience and how it differed from your Mormon experience?
Oh, gosh. I kind of feel like, I know it sounds silly, but I kind of feel like I'm born again every day.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, it's hard to explain.
Right.
I don't think my husband really knew what the big crisis of faith that I had really had, and how important it was to me, for no reason other than I could say, I guess Jesus had already claimed me.
Mm-hmm.
It was important for me to know about who he was, and it was important for me, I felt like I needed to be baptized in his name and not in the name of a church or anything else.
Right.
And I finally decided to turn in my resignation letter, and it felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, and like Jesus was with me the whole time.
Wow.
He never let go of me.
So when you first realized that Mormonism wasn't true, how did you feel about that, Desiree? Did it make you sad, mad, or what?
Oh gosh. When I first realized, I was on a website for moms, and I found a group of ex-Mormons, and it never really occurred to me that there were other people like me.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of thought I was the only one. And they had posted a lot of information, and I realized now that a lot of it came from Utah Lighthouse Ministry. And I was shocked because there's things I'd never heard before. I'd never heard about Joseph Smith practicing polygamy, and I hadn't heard about becoming gods and Masonic rituals. And I was angry. I was angry that I'd been lied to, and people that I loved lied to me, and that they also believed lies. It's still really hard for me to swallow that.
Right. Right. Okay, we're getting close to the end now, so in closing, Desiree, if you could say something to your LDS family and friends, if they happen to see this interview, what would you say to them?
Gosh. I just want them to know that I love them and I don't judge them. I've been where they are, but I don't want them to take my word for it. I want them to go out and do the research and learn about the things that they're not telling you, and learn that the Jesus that they're telling you is not the true Jesus. He's all right there in the Bible. He is God. He always was. He always will be. And he's so much greater than the Mormon church makes him out to be. And when you have a real experience with him, you don't need a church anymore. It's just you and him, and I want them to know that I'm here if they want to talk, and I'm here if they have any questions. I just really want them to do the research and really learn who Jesus is.
Amen. Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much, Desiree, for sharing with us what the Lord has done in your life and what he continues to do. And I'm sure he'll use this to bless and encourage many people.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. We'll talk to you soon then.